Let's talk about the cross. The cross is one of the most misunderstood graven image that is accepted worldwide by Christians, by people who don't really got clear understanding of what it means that we shall not make unto us any graven images. And the cross is clearly a graven image. It is clearly a graven image. There's no doubt. It is carved, molded, sculpted, and shaped into a form by man's hands. That is a graven image. Now, what is considered an idol? Can a cross be an idol? Well, idol can be a religious image. The cross is a religious image, is it not? It also says that a person who people admire, the cross has the image of YAHUAH that was crucified on the cross. Is that not a religious image? And it's something that maybe even be worshiped. Is it not true that people worship this image of the cross? They hold it in their hands as they pray, as if it has power. Is this not true? This cross has been represented way before the time of the crucifixion, way before YAHUAH was crucified. The Babylonians had crosses that represented their religion, their Elohims. That's why we were supposed to be a set apart people. So there will be a difference between good and evil. That we would know the difference because of the way that Yashrael would worship our Elohim. If everybody's wearing crosses, including the people who worship Elohim, how can we tell them apart? Whether it's a good religion or a bad religion practice. Now, centuries, I'm talking about centuries before the crucifixion, the Babylonians, the pagans, had crosses. This is where the cross comes from. It comes from Babylon. All through Scripture, Elohim warns us not to follow in the ways of the other nations. The Babylonians were the other nations, was considered a part of the other nations. We were also held captive and enslaved by the Babylonians. And even in our captivity, we're supposed to still follow the ways of Elohim and not fall victim to the way they worship their Elohims. Here's a depiction of a cross hanging from a structure in Babylon. This is carved and etched in stone from Babylon. Now keep in mind, the cross came in many shapes, many forms, and has evolved throughout the years and throughout the centuries. The Babylonians had a cross that people wear today on their necks, in the churches, in their homes, on their bodies, in their cars. Is this image here not being admired by millions? This image here is everywhere. It is worldwide known. This image with YAHUAH nailed to a cross. This is a image. This is a idol. This is idol worship. This is what Elohim teaches us not to do. But yet this is promoted and accepted. And the Christianity, they push it. That's why it stays into the church. It stays around the campus of the church. And the pastors don't teach against it. Isn't this image worship? Yes, it's worship. Absolutely, it's worship. Sometimes people hold prayer beads in their hands with crosses on them. What is the point of having that when it's made of man's hands? And we're forbidden to do that. People bow down in front of crosses. People kiss crosses. People make the sign of the cross, as does the Catholic Church priests do. This is things that we were not supposed to do as the children of Yashrael. We were supposed to be a set apart people. We were chosen by Elohim. So isn't this a religious image? Having all these crosses around our necks? If this is not an image, I don't know what an image is. This is a graven image. I don't know what a graven image is. If I don't know what a graven image is, that means I am ignorant and I lack the knowledge. So therefore I should seek the knowledge. So therefore I can discern the difference between evil and good. All through scripture there's warnings. Elohim warns all through scripture. And the followers of Elohim and his ways, they all destroyed these images. And it's in scripture. Is not this a religious image? If everyone connects it to YAHUAH, the Messiah, then it's considered a religious image. Because when seeing this cross, people are reminded about the crucifixion. The cross is worldwide known as the cross that the Messiah was crucified on, the Mashiach. This is a graven image. This is idol worship on a small scale. It's not a big statue outside of a building, but on a very small scale. So an idol can be a religious image or a person who people admire and maybe even seem to be worshipped. Is that not in like manner that people worship YAHUAH? Because he is a person that people admire. This is a religious image. Forbidden. There's no getting around it. Find one verse in scripture where the disciples had crosses, or any man of Elohim possess the cross. So we shall not make any cuttings in our flesh either. People put the image of YAHUAH HaMashiach, the Messiah, our salvation, on their bodies. And we're even told not to do that as well. But yet, because of the lack of the knowledge, people do these things because people mimic what they see. We don't even know if he looked like this image. We don't even know for sure. Now remember, the cross has evolved. It has evolved throughout the centuries. All of these are considered crosses. You can look it up for yourself and learn what this imagery has done to the masses and fooling people to wear these things in reverence to the Most High. That is a lot of different crosses. And everything can be stemmed back to Babylon. Babylon. The Catholic Church. Persians. Greeks. Now this is why we are ignorant to the fact that this is something that YAHUAH hates, because we have forgotten the commandments. We've forgotten what he commanded us, because there's more than just 10 commandments. He's also given us commands like not eating unclean meats. Those are commands. Don't eat pigs. We walk after the ways of the other nations now. And we are in a nation that we walk after. We celebrate all their traditions in this United States of America. We don't celebrate any of the biblical traditions, the Sabbath, so far and so forth. And since we are stiff-necked, is what Scripture calls us, because we are the children of Israel. We are the children of Yashriel. We are Judah in America. We are the ones that was scattered to the four corners. And we are sent a strong delusion that we should believe this lie of the cross, because we do not seek the truth and we reject the truth. If I told someone that the cross that they have on their neck is something that is called a graven image that we were forbidden to have, that was in Scripture, that person, I guarantee you, will be rebellious against that fact and try to prove a point that it doesn't matter. So, with that being said, ask yourself. Always ask yourself and then go to Scripture for the answers, as I do. I go to the Scripture for answers, and I ask for the Most High to give me wisdom and knowledge and guide me, that I be able to discern the difference between good and evil and what's right and what's wrong, and not to turn to the left or not to turn to the right. I wish this upon anyone that wants to seek understanding and wisdom. Shalom.